Yes, I'm going to start. Welcome to the Coaching Summit 2020. Uh, this is going to be a session on the coaching basic and principles of effective leadership, and we're going to start in a moment. So, as a participant, please note that you're mute and your camera will be off during this session. But we welcome you to use the chat, and this is a great way for you to connect with your colleagues and to ask questions to today's presenters. And make sure that you switch to all panelists and attendees and the drop-down menu of the chat so everybody can see your messages. So this session will be recorded. So if you share anything, just be conscious of that and be nice and respectful. So this time now, I'm gonna welcome Pierrette Jutras and Jacinthe Morin, who we are going to present this coaching basic and principles for effective leaderships. So the ball to you.
Bonjour tout le monde. Hello, sorry. We're happy to be here, and we're pretty excited at the same time. We've modified this course from even the name Alexandre gave it to what you will see on the screen. So I let Pierrette introduce that.
Oh, I'm presenting the presentation, you mean?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome to this workshop. This workshop is inspired of a course that's been given from l'École de la Fonction Publique Canada School of Public Service, D101. So we took part of this course for the one-day course, and we took what we feel are the essential components of a coaching intervention or a coaching conversation, and we will share with this with you today. My name is Pierrette Jutras. I might have skipped that. I work at Canadian Heritage as a manager in learning services. What I do is basically I work with a team of program officers in teaching or getting training to grants and contribution staff on how to manage grants and contribution. Coaching came to me in my life about 3-4 years ago when I decided to enroll into a coaching school in Montreal called the Centre québécois de programmation neurolinguistique. I'm a certified coach in NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, which is the art of achieving your goals using models, using things that have worked in the past, using excellence, modeling excellence. I've been doing coaching on and off because I'm still working at Canadian Heritage as a manager. I'm not a coach, a professional coach doing this professionally. I've been doing this within my department for the past year and a half. What we're about to give you today is the tools we have. We're not professional coaches. We are professional coaches, but this is not the way our way of living. We're no Anthony Robbins. We're no celebrities. We're just two coaches with a big heart, and we want to share with you what we know, what we do best when we do coaching, and some of the recipes to give you a little bit more coaching skills. Jacinthe, over to you.
Hello, so my name is Jacinthe Morin. I've been with the Federal Public Service for many, many years, starting with what is now called the Border Services Defense to all the way to more soft and fuzzy Fisheries Service Canada. But the departments where I spend most of my career are on the international field in international development. And finally, I went to my other love, Indigenous Affairs, for the past 10 years in departments related to that. So I've been a staff and a supervisor and a manager. Coaching for me fell on me because it started as people coming to ask me for advice and guidance. And I realized I did not want necessarily always to play this guidance role. I thought I should help them find their own way. So I went, and 3 years later, I did the course at the same school in Montreal, and now I'm a certified coach, and I sprinkle it everywhere I can in my personal life, with my peers, with my staff, and I try to really develop that muscle, which is not always natural. And we will, so today we will try to make you practice. and work on your coaching muscle. So what is that? So maybe I can share again my screen and we can start. Share screen. No, screen 1, screen 2. It's bizarre. Okay, sorry. Share. Okay. There we go. So it takes a minute sometimes too. So first, a minute that's linked to my second love of Indigenous issues. Just a note to say that anywhere we are in Canada, we are somehow gathered on traditional territories of Canada's First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. So just a recognition of that. Then we'll go to Pierrette for the workshop objectives.
Yes, today's objective, we're going to cover a few topics, but mostly what coaching is, understanding the basic principles. We're going to share with you about that. We're going to spend quite some time to the raising the listening art of active listening, for sure. We will also cover how to ask powerful questions and of course, all that into the context of how to adapt. I don't need to define adapt since we've been like you and have been like you in the past 8 months, adapting to many, many things in my professional and personal life. So I don't think we need to stress an important amount of time on that one. We can go to the next one, Jacinthe.
So Pierrette and I, we gave a lot of thought and we had the one-day course material. So some of these slides are from the original one-day course, but we actually kept changing it. And we thought, what is, at the end of the day, what could be useful for the people watching this or participating? Actually, it's not watching. We want you to participate. And what could be the most useful components? So here they are. So a bit of what is coaching and what it's not, when to use it, a bit around that. And actually, it's a bit of a same as Pierrette was just mentioning, I guess. Active listening, powerful questions, and then we'll go on to the conclusion. So, but our objective is really to make you participate as much as we can. So, without further ado, we will go to the next page. Or Pierrette, did you want to add something? No. Oh, you're on mute. Haha.
Darn. Another $5 to the charitable campaign. In my department, when someone spoke on the mute mic, we had to donate $5 to the charitable campaign. But of course, as you know, the charitable campaign is over since last week. Anyways, I gave a lot of money to the gym because of that incentive. Before we go to the icebreaker, I think it's important, Jacinthe, that we mentioned that we're going to give ourselves 90 minutes today, or 70-some minutes, 75 minutes, to taking some time to ask the right question. And if you are in a supervisory position or manager position, or just in relationship with someone else, so that covers pretty much everyone, we need to give us our time, sometimes to just focus on what's going to happen today. We have a presentation for you. I know I'm surrounded by screen. There's an iPhone, there's a cat at the door, there's a dog outside. I just want to be here with you, and I wish for you to be able to do the same, closing my email, closing any bells or whistle that could distract me. And it's in line to what we are about to talk about. It's in line with the art of listening, which is being present. And the people who will know me will laugh inside, because me being present, I have this golden retriever watching for a squirrel all the time. And for me, the aha moment I learned in coaching in the 700 hours or so many hours that we had in coaching certification, is to shut up and listen and be present and focus on what's happening in front of me, what the person is telling me, and not to be afraid of silence. And you will practice that this afternoon. So I'm hoping that you have the liberty, or you can give that to yourself today, of being present to that session without any distraction, any exterior distraction. I really hope you can give that to yourself. Merci, Jacinthe. Now we can go to the icebreaker.
But that reminded me.
Anything you want to add?
That reminded me. Why don't everybody take just a deep breath sit. I'll do it at the same time. Just to say, okay, we're here. This is gonna be fun. I hope. We had fun this morning, so I'm pretty sure.
We did, and I think Jacinthe also, it comes to mind that when we do what we just did, it also prepares us for a coaching session or a coaching conversation with a colleague, right? Sometimes people will show up in your office, well, now in your screen, on your screen, everything has changed so much, but people will come into your life or will come to you and all of a sudden, and you're projected, you're thrown into a conversation. So you want to take some time to stop and think about what's going to happen. Otherwise, you might have a different reception to what the person is trying to tell you. So just saying that time to, one of the first key I think I learned is to stop, think, breathe, and take our time. Okay.
Okay.
On to the icebreaker.
Now we go. So as promised, we want you to play with us, participate as much as possible so you get the most out of it. So you need to go to Chrome or Safari or some modern browser, I guess, and write menti.com, and Pierrette will do magic. And the code is 150-395-8 or 15-03-95-8, depending on how your brain works, right?
And I think know where you're from today.
Yes.
I'm gonna share my screen. I'm going to share my screen so people can see the results.
So yeah, so where are you from? Where are you right now? Apart from breathing in your chair and screaming.
Tell you right away. Do you see that, Justin? I see in your glasses that you see that.
Yes, yes, yes. So we see that, so the biggest word is the biggest answer. So we see Ottawa, pretty big, Ontario, Gatineau, but we also see Winnipeg, British Columbia, Montreal, yeah. Calgary, Minnesota, Victoria.
Papineauville, yay! It's, you know, this, am I on mute? Yeah, I'm good. This exercise would have been totally different had we been sitting in our offices. We would probably see 25, 30 cities. But now that, and it didn't cross my mind this morning, but now that we're working from home, wow, we see all the hometowns or home cities that people are working from. Even, I'm sure people don't even work from their hometown. If I had that luxury, I would go work from, you know, somewhere else on the planet. So that's really interesting to see where everybody's from.
Yeah, and there's some in the chat now that I can see it. Is that some people say because their departmental computer is blocking them. So I see Sao Paulo, and I put the code in the chat again. So Los Angeles, so our colleagues are working in the international field. Yes?
We might have not stressed it, Jacinthe, but it's very important that if you can, in my case anyways, if I disconnect from the VPN, it allows us to connect directly to the internet and we can see those cities. But yes, I have to admit, in some department, it's pretty tight to get access to outside exterior software.
And to say for me, it just it makes it so slow. So I did close my VPN, and I'm just straight on the internet to do this Zoom with you. Some people say, yeah, for this Menti, you can try your personal mobile, and we will have a few questions. So it's not the only one. So if you want to open up Menti on your phone or something else, it's going to be worthwhile to find it. So we see a lot of, I don't know, Pierrette, some words are very small for me. You want to tell us what other small and exotic places small. We have?
Hey, Beaver Creek, Yukon, New Westminster, Vancouver. It's moving also. Kelowna, I've been to Kelowna. Cantley, way, Embrun, Dieppe, PI, Allarville. I don't know where Allarville is. Saint-Sauveur, Dundas, Gatineau. See, depending if you say Gatineau, Quebec, or just Gatineau, you get in a different result. So it's fun. I guess we can perhaps move on with the next one, Jacinthe, the next little
So this is just something fun and to get you started with the Menti. And I see other Saskatoon, Shediac, New Brunswick in the chat. So, but and then you say where are we, Pierrette? You and I, where are we?
Elmer, Quebec. Well, Gatineau, but Jacinthe and I cannot get over the fact that we're called now Gatineau. Sorry, no offense. We're from the Elmer section of Gatineau.
Yeah, so
but not
it's
in the same house.
No, so and if you want to visualize it and you're somewhere else in Canada, we're like in the Ottawa region, but on the Quebec side. And for Quebec people in Montreal or Quebec City, you could say we're in the far west of Quebec.
Yes.
So.
Perfect.
Okay, so we go to the next one. The next one is the same Menti. Pierrette will do her magic. And you want me to share my screen in between so I can, so people can see again. Where's my sharing?
Yes,
It's my sharing. Okay, I got it. So it's the same code. It's bringing you another question.
Is how do you feel today? Not so
How
good,
do you feel?
Barely there. I'm okay. So happy I could fly.
It's
again, I saw earlier that people who don't have access to the Menti for some reason, you can also say how you feel in the chat between not good, barely there, I'm okay, so happy I could fly, or any other way of describing how you feel today.
And Pierrette, how do you feel today?
I'm so happy I could fly. Yes.
For me,
I'm today.
Yeah, I'm happy a little bit. This is like I call it positive stress. I like. I'm happy to share this time with you, but of course it's a little bit stressful at the same time. So we want to do well. So what do you see?
Also, I'm sorry. It's probably because also the coffee has kicked in for some people. This morning we had 4 people who were not so good, and today, this afternoon, we don't have anybody who's not good. So I guess coffee at the time of the day, I don't know.
Okay, you want to share your screen to show us? Now I'm curious.
Oh, I thought I was. You silly me. I thought I was. Just a sec. Yeah, it's fun to see the thing. Voila. So yes, hang on, people. There's not good. Perfect. Okay, Jacinthe. I guess now that we took the pulse, we can ready to move on. I'm just gonna stop sharing.
Good. Somebody's asking how many people at it wasn't 8:30, it was 10:30, and there was about 140, I don't know, participants in France.
156 at some point. Yes, you're right. We need to put in perspective. There's 228 this afternoon. There was about 150 this morning. So all the more reason to have not good, and we don't have not good. So that's perfect.
Good.
Yay.
Okay. So I'll go back to sharing my screen, I guess. We're gonna click faster over time. We're not. Oh, it's funny how the first time I click it doesn't show. Okay, so what is coaching, Pierrette?
I don't know. I guess I could read that. You can all read, right? The objective of coaching is to make sure that everybody has resource. We all have resource. I have resource. Jacinthe has. Everybody here have resource, and it's identify our resource, identify our talent, and make this come to the top. Like today, what we're going to see today. I bet you all of you know that. You all know the principle of coaching. It's not arranged in your brain, perhaps in that order, or maybe it's on the back burner of everything else that's going on in your life right now, professional and personal. And boy, do we know that there's a lot happening on those fronts. So the art of coaching is to make sure that every resource you work with, be it your friends, your family, your coworkers, have access to their resource, and they use those resources to achieve their goals. That's basically what coaching is about. C'est bon ça, Jacinthe? Have I hit the spot on that one? Okay.
Oops. Again. Okay. So we like this image of hats because that's how we think it's appropriate, because it's not a role. It's not a role. Somebody is like a supervisor nonstop all day, every day. you, over your day, over your minutes, you change hats. And then sometimes you might be a supervisor, you might be a mentor, you might be a coach. So, so, so really it's different, and it can change even within the same conversation, depending on what you're trying to explain or work with someone. If you're familiar with it, there's the situational leadership theory by Urzi and Blanchard, and they really go over that. What is appropriate? So sometimes it's appropriate to really tell people, like a supervisor, tell people what to do. Other times it's appropriate to be a mentor and kind of more recommend what to do, give from your experience, and that kind of act. But other times, and that's where we want to challenge you to develop more of, is sometimes it's appropriate to be a coach and let go of the control of all the details and let people find their own way. The coach will ask you how you want to reach your goal, not his goal. So it's a different vision. And you should adapt your style and your hat based on the style and the level of experience and competency of the person. So like Pierrette, if you're saying when you're teaching, what kind of hat do you use?
Oh, you asked me a question. Yes, the mentor hat, of course. Yes, absolutely. Most of the time, I would say very rarely we use a coach hat when we teach, especially in my field. It's a lot technical, so there's not much room there for people to give me options on what they don't know their options are, right? So yes, in the field I'm teaching, mentoring is mostly what we do. I don't see well on my screen. Is it supervisor? Yeah, supervisor is a different hat that we don't wear necessarily in teaching, but I would say yes, mentoring.
Okay. So now we want you to participate. This time we'll use the chat. So the people who had challenges with the mentee, this time is the chat. So what do you think are the particularities of the three roles? And so, what do they do? How do you see them? So what does the supervisor do? You see, actually, I lost it again when I switched back and forth. I lost my chat, Pierrette. I'm sorry.
Oh, you did? That's okay. I can be your eyes. A coach asks, a supervisor makes decisions, offer solution. I'm assuming it's a mentor or a supervisor. Supervisor instructs. Supervisor manage the day-to-day. Mentor advises. Good listener. A coach must be a good listener. See, when we were talking earlier that you know these answers, you know what it takes to be a good coach, but we're just gonna put this, make sure that these concepts that you do have inside you or on the back burner, as I was mentioning, are just coming on top, so you can start coaching conversations. Supervisor, decision, mentor, guide, coach, teach. Supervisors tasks and evaluates. Yes, so we can tell, you can see the trend on coaching. Coaching is a different, mentoring is a lot about transferring skills or transferring knowledge. You can see that. As corporate objective is a supervisor. Second, the mentor teach, and the third, the coach is helping to reflect. Absolutely. Collaborate. A coach share knowledge to help you improve your abilities, open opportunities. Absolutely. Supervisor encourage, make space, provide resources. Yes, all good definitions or the particularity between the three. Absolutely. So Jacinthe,
Yes.
we
Okay.
wanna maybe
We'll
move
go to
to
the
the
next
next
one. Yeah.
which is the butterfly. Yeah, okay.
So it's kind of the same, similar, but what the difference here is, when would you wear a coaching hat specifically, in the workplace? So again, in the
I,
chat, yes.
yes, I like what I just saw. Coaching, the client is the expert. Absolutely. We'll come back to that later.
Oops, sorry.
When is it? No problem. When is it appropriate to coach in the workplace? to encourage. Absolutely too. That's really good.
And
To guide.
what I can say a bit is that it's really not something some people are used to do, but it's something you might want to challenge yourself to explore. It's not always appropriate, like we were saying, like in the, when you're teaching something new or when you have new staff. But really, when you have experienced staff, and if you want to let them find their own way, you know that's the result, you know where you want them to end up, but that they choose the process is really empowering to them. So I challenge you to try that with family, friends, colleagues, and staff.
Yes. And I think we need to remind the participants that when they do comment, they need to comment to all panelists and participants. I didn't know that this is a different Zoom. This is a Zoom account from the Canada School of Public Service that we're testing out today. And you have two options to answer. You can answer just the panelists or the panelists and participant. So if you want to share your answer with everyone, you want to be mindful of these two options. So that way we can see all, well, we see all your comments, but I guess all the participants don't necessarily see all the comments. I like this one, but I like all of them, but there's one about coaching. It says to show people the necessary steps in order to be successful in their position. That's a really good definition of coaching. So I guess Jacinthe, we can talk about a little bit about that. When is it appropriate to wear a coaching hat in the workplace? Most definitely, we're gonna have to wear all these hats in the workplace, and I say that as a supervisor or as a colleague. There are situations where it's not appropriate to wear a coach hat. For example, when you're in the field like I am, I said that earlier. If the work I do and the matter we do teach is so technical, I cannot ask people how to operate that software. What decision would be, the more logic one before or after that one. It doesn't make sense for them. They are learning a process. They are learning a procedure, a software. So they need to be mentored. They cannot be coached to a certain extent. A few years down the road, the staff is pretty much comfortable with the system. We may challenge them with coaching question. How would you see we would do this process in the future? But when I've seen that in the chat before, when you teach a new employee, especially on a technical aspect of his or her job, coaching is not the way to go. It's mentoring for sure. Coaching in the workplace, conflict resolution, or human relationship, interpersonal relationship, is a really good sphere of where coaching happens. Any other thing? Coaching, the client is the expert. As I said earlier, as we said earlier, coaching is fun because, and it relieves a lot of stress. As subject matter expert, as supervisor, or just as colleague, because you've been around for quite some time, people will come to you and they want advice. You'll give them advice. And if it's not technical, of course, you'll be tempted to give them the answers and move on so they can do their job. You can do yours. But the benefit of being a coach in the workplace is that you give them the option, they find their own options. So you don't have to be this person for everyone anymore. They have if you ask them the right questions, they will find the answers. And that way they will, chances that for them to observe the new findings or the options that they're choosing will be greater than if you just give them advice, right? So I guess I was jumping into that definition exactly, just good timing, that coaching is not about, it's not to show anybody how to do their job. Coaching is to to find, we're talking about job, but it's not about telling people what to do or when to do it or how to do it. It's really telling people, asking the right questions to people that they find their own answers. And then they can apply it themselves, and they will remember it and they will apply it a lot easier if it comes from them. I'm sure those of you who have kids, you know the power of having the kids making his or her own decisions, and having them uh, you know make those decisions for themselves and come up with the options that they feel is a better option. And again, depending on the kids, you cannot have your kid, you cannot coach your kids indefinitely, but you can use coaching approach it with your kids, and it will work. So I guess we're good with the butterfly and the caterpillar here, Madame Jacinthe.
Okay,
Perfect.
so here is a bit of a like coaching philosophy or principles, if you might. It's something like that's underscores all the coaching approach. So in this vision, you say people have the resources they need to take the right decisions, what that's right to them now. So it's not about you. It's not about your right or better or decision, and it's now. Of course, it's easy 10 years later to say, oh, if I had known that 10 years ago, I would have done that. But you didn't know. So it didn't happen. So what you did or what people do is they make the best decisions for them today, for their objectives. And that's really the coaching, is letting go of control, letting go and trying to tell people, even if you might think, oh, maybe they should do that instead. But no, coaching is you stop, you tell your ego to back off ego, and you're really there for the other person at their speed. They have the resources and they have a positive intention. Sometimes they might do something it's not clear where that's going. I don't know, like Pierrette had a good example this morning about getting a present with
the positive intention.
Yes.
The positive intention. Yes.
Mhm.
It's funny because for me, behind every behavior hides a positive intention was a lot easier to understand when the behavior is nice. For example, someone gives me their wallet. Well, I know what the positive intention behind that. They want to make me happy, and I can load their credit card and buy some Christmas gifts with it. I'm happy. What I could not grasp, and still today I have a hard time grasping, is that behind every behavior hides a positive intention. If someone takes my wallet and run away with it, well, a good intention obviously is for these people to buy themselves Christmas gifts, or have fun with my credit cards. Good luck with that. But this is the one principle that I really try to stick. They're all really important, but this one, especially when you come into conflict resolution. Conflict resolution, you'll see position people are sticking to their guns, and we're going to ask you later, or we're going to tell you about later, how to put yourself in the shoes of the other person. And this is the one that speaks to me the most. That behind every behavior, every behavior, there's a positive intention. So if someone is mean to you, or something bad around you happens, there is a positive intention, and I have to look a lot to find it. But there is one. You need to put yourself in the shoes of the other person, and it's easier to find. So I guess this is the example I served this morning, Jacinthe, on the positive intention being the
And
guiding principle of every action.
and I really liked it. I thought it was very telling. So otherwise, it's all about, that's it. It's all about the person, their process, their way, their road to their objective. So that's the kind of concepts behind the approach.
There was a question on the chat, Jacinthe, before we go into the coaching fundamentals. I know we addressed when is it appropriate to be a coach, when is it appropriate to be a mentor. There's a question, and I think it's a legitimate one. What's the difference between coaching and mentoring? And I know we kind of peppered the notion with it, but to me, the difference, and Jacinthe, you can certainly add to that. To me, the difference between coaching and mentoring is transferring some skills. You have to be a subject matter expert. You have to have the knowledge, the expertise, the savoir-faire. People are looking to you to get those answers. Coaching, to me, in the sense where I want to share with you today, is calling for the people resources to resurface and finding their options, and making them, leading them to action, so they bring their own solution. To me, they're two different fields, and they're addressing two different needs. I don't know if I made that clear, and Jacinthe, you may want to add on that. But yes, one of the things that, sorry, just before I go, we did a summit of coaching week, something similar in May during the International Coaching Week. And the most aha moment we came across was people letting us know, I had a hard time still knowing the difference between mentoring and coaching. And I thought, because we gave coaching sessions, and they said, oh, I thought you would be mentoring me. Well, too bad. This is not what the intention of the session was. And they were happy when they left that we practiced coaching with them. But a lot of people still have a misunderstanding about what are they both.
Okay. Sorry, I was experiencing some things. Okay, so now we can go to then. When I click, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. I'm sorry. I'm having a. Okay.
Because you wanted to see. Perfect. So coaching fundamentals. I think that's one of the slides I have to speak to, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of words in that, and again, you can read, but I'm drawn to three of these fundamental speaking points. The first that really is appealing to me, and it might be different for you, but I guess one of that I want to shed some light on is way of being. Being a coach or having a coaching conversation or putting on your coaching hat is all about who you are and a way of being. And I've read in the chat earlier, are we born a coach, or is the active listening something that's innate that we get born with, or is it something that can be developed? It can be developed. You don't have to be that particular way to become this particular way. It's a way of being. Coaching is a position that you put yourself into. It's a way of being. That's the one. The other one that I really like is choice. Choice is also where you're going to bring the people you are talking to in a voyage, in a journey within themselves, where they will find options and choices. And as cliche as it may sound, that we always have a choice. Yes, we always do have a choice. And we'll scratch that a little later. But again, way of being, choice, finding all these choices and looking for options. And the other one that I really like to talk about is explore. Coaching is about exploring you as a coach, or having the conversation on coaching or coaching conversation with someone. You will help them explore. You will not explore for them. You will help them explore the perspective and the possibilities. And you have to be curious. They have to be curious. They have to want to be curious about what are their dead spots, their dead spots, and those angles that we don't see, those options that they didn't think about. So to me, these are the three fundamentals that are really speaking to me. Jacinthe, I know this morning you had some different ones you want to talk about as well.
Yes, actually, I really like the mutual respect. So because that talks about the respecting who the people are and really trying to embrace that and respecting who they are, where they are at today, and trying to understand when they're talking, fully understand, not just trying to answer or trying to do other things. So I really like the mutual respect one.
Thank you. I want to add, I've seen that in the chat for quite a bit now, and I wasn't sure if Alexandre would be answering that, but people are wondering if they can have access to the slides. The slides have already been put in an intranet somewhere, right? Every participant should have an intranet link. Is it in the invitation? Is it in the program?
It was sent. It was.
Are there.
Yeah, it was sent in the email that Caitlin sent you last night. There was a link to it's called a Padlet or something like that. I don't know if Alexandre has the right word, but anyways, there's a link and all the PowerPoints are shared there. Alexandre?
Perfect.
Yes, so yes, in the chat, I did send, I just put the link for all the material for this week, including today's event. And I'll share again that in the link so you can find it closer to.
And it's not 100% exact the same, because we've been tweaking at lunchtime the order based on the experience from the morning. So you're getting presented the best version we thought as of right now.
New and improved. New and
Yes.
improved. We just changed the order of the slide. Though, so
Yeah.
perfect. Merci, Alexandre. Thank you.
OK. So, on peut bouger à la prochaine?
Yes, dear.
Okay, now back with Jacinthe. So, improve your listening skills. Most people listen because they want to talk, they want to respond. And actually, there's a little link to, we have quite a few people that are abroad right now, and that you might recognize that some of it is cultural. But in Canada, it's very strong that people want to reply. They want to reply. They want to go fast. They want to show they're quick on their feet. But are they really listening? Are you really listening when you're preparing to reply? So here's the, that's the question. And in some cultures, actually, it's not seen as a good thing if you're super quick and you answer, but you have not really understood, fully grasped what the question or the context was. So here we're encouraging you, and there will be exercise to do that, to listen intently. And this active listening is nothing new. It was there's some psychologists, Rogers and Farson, that kind of started the calling active listening in 1957. Imagine, and we're still not listening. But it's gaining more and more popularity as people realize it's something that needs to be developed, and it's really powerful. It works. So that's why it's something good. So that's the intro to the active listening section.
Jacinthe, I have an,
yes.
an interesting comment in the chat.
Yes.
I'll summarize it, but basically it goes that people cannot make their own decision until they have the skills or knowledge to do so. So we assume that they can find their own way, but sometimes they need to be told what to do, and then they become more aware, and then they can make their own decision. What would you have to say about that? Because it's a really good comment that oh yeah, I know this thing of coaching. Everybody got their resource. It's going to come up. People come to you and they want some guidance, and then they can make their own decision. I partially agree with that, but coaching is up exterior to that. It's not about that necessarily. So what would you say? And I had that question when I started my coaching certification myself. So
no, but it's all about the situational leadership. You should do what's appropriate, but then challenge yourself. Are you still in the director supervision mode when maybe this staff is more mature and they are ready to be empowered, and they would be much more motivated and productive if you actually back off the control and let them find their way, and you put a bit of the coach hat. But it's a muscle, and I know I'm a results manager, so I like my results, and I can tell you what to do and every step of how to do it. I can do that. I'm quite capable. So over the last 10 years, I've kind of reeled that back and say, oh, what's appropriate here? And how can I make my employees more productive? And actually, I can tell you, with the situation in the workplace, it's becoming harder and harder to find good staff. So if you want to retain your good staff, you want them motivated and empowered as much as possible. Of course, when you get a new employee or in some process situations, it's not appropriate. But you really ask yourself the question, how much control do I really need?
Absolutely, Jacinthe. Merci for that. Yep, I think it answers the question. So we were done with that PowerPoint. Which one?
So active listening. So active listening, it's really, that's it. It pays off. It pays off when you really listen to people, because you build trust. People, they realize you're really listening. It opens your perspectives, because when you talk, you don't learn anything new. You know what you're saying, you're in your head. So you only learn when you're listening to other people. So and then it works on your patience, makes you more approachable. So there's many benefits. And it saves time and money. You win. What's that? Well, at the workplace, we have enough conflicts. So if we can work on preventing it by having better interpersonal relationships, then that's something that's really valuable. People, and we spend so much time at work that really, it's a good thing if we can make it more pleasant for everybody. So that's really in the conflict prevention mode. That's what we think here. Anything to add, Pierrette, or we're gonna, because I know the next slide is kind of goes on to the next here.
Yes, in active listening, what we did, as Jacinthe mentioned, we took some takeaway pieces from the full day course, and we said, you know what, there's a couple components that we really want to stress: active listening, empathy, and powerful questions. So that's what we did. So to close about the active listening, I think as we are, as a parent, a member of a family, member of a team at work, we are easily drawn into giving advice. It's easy for me because, you know what, it's going to take me 2 minutes if I give you the answer, but it'll take me half an hour if I show you how. And you've learned a Chinese thing that says you better show someone how to fish than giving them a fish, or thing like that. And it's all about making people accountable for their decision. And I'm not saying that in a patronizing way. I'm saying that people love to have the choice, and they love to find their own solution. And active listening is more like, I'm not going to say I have an opinion on your thing, and I better not have an opinion on your thing, because if I'm judging what you say, I have an opinion. If I'm not judging what you say, I don't have an opinion on what you're telling me. I'm listening to you. I'm asking you questions to shed light on what your options are, and you choose your options. You choose the actions you wanna do. So people will trust you that way. They will say, "Oh, she listens to me." People will probably say she gave me advice. No, because it gets lost in translation. People find a solution and they have a hard time believing it's from them because they didn't think about that before, right? So trust the process. And I said that in the chat earlier. A coach is about process. A mentor is about knowledge transfer. And I really, really like that. The coach is master of the process. We don't know anything about your situation, nor are we going to try to give you an advice. How easy is that? I know nothing about your problem, but I'm going to help you find the solution. So yeah, I guess we're exhausted that PowerPoint, Madame Jacinthe. We'll move on to the next one.
Okay. So actually, but sorry, I was it's just like something that's powerful. I don't and I had problems with my the sunshine coming into my face, so I took a moment. But what I find here, something that it's worth mentioning is that to share a similar situation has to be done with a lot of caution, because it might look like you're telling people what to do. So just that's why we put it at the end. Say just only when with caution. If you want to be in the coaching mode, right? Otherwise, you end up in the mentor mode.
Can I just come back to that one just a little bit? Because I'm looking at the chat at the same time, and it's funny because I said earlier we should not be distracted about anything else, and that's the only thing I'm looking at. I'm looking at the chat, looking at the PowerPoints, and thinking about not what I'm going to say, because I'm looking at that and it speaks to me, and I just speak back to the PowerPoint. But listening without judging or taking a stand, we know that it's just bringing that to the surface and putting these rules on the table while you're about to enter into a coaching situation, because it's going to escalate if you don't take time to breathe, deposit yourself, je sais pas si on dit ça comme ça en anglais, but put yourself at rest and prepare yourself for a coaching conversation. Pay full attention to the person in front of you. I cannot say interlocutor en anglais. So pay full attention to the person in front of you, being focused on that person. Rephrase what they say. Rephrasing is important because sometimes they say something, you hear something else. And then it goes from there, and at the end of your conversation, you lose them with the question you're asking them, because they say, I was not talking about that, I'm talking about that. Oh, so as much as you can, rephrase. If I understand correctly, you just mentioned don't give an opinion, just rephrase. Ask question if needed, and then at the end, you briefly summarize the conversation. One of the things that's not here, and it's funny because Jacinthe and I have pretty much verbomotor. We speak and we speak fast and we speak a lot. And is not to be afraid of silences. If there are no silences in the conversation, let's say you have a person that really opens up and blah, 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 the machine is going, put one there. Don't say anything at some point. Just create a silence. The silence either from you or from this other person, it speaks a lot. It speaks a lot. You plant those silences or respect those silences. I was that kind of person, not anymore, hard to believe. I was that kind of person who cannot live with a 2 second silence. I would, fill that void all the time. And I've learned that, at school and then working and then from life, I learned that those silences, when they are well placed or planted, if you need to, they do magic. They just do magic. Silence, be present, smile, and look the other person in the eye. Voila.
Okay.
Jacinthe. Yes.
Okay. And we're good with time, so.
Yes. We have 25, 30, 40 minutes left.
So now we will, this is like one lens, okay? There's different techniques, there's different theory. This is not what we learn in our school specifically, but this is a lens to help you focus on right now moment. So when you're talking to somebody, that's a good exercise we challenge you to do, and there will be an exercise in the next slide. So I'm telling you already, beware. And so that's just one lens, one theory. So you can say, where is the person you're talking to? Where are they? Are they in their head? And they're mentioning concepts, theories, facts, numbers, logic, and maybe visual. I saw this, I saw that. So it's really like emotion neutral, matter of fact. Or their heart. They're talking about emotions, relationships, how they're important, and they will say things about their feelings. I'm happy, I was not happy, I was sad. Or are they in their body? They're more physical, action, energy, they're action oriented. So where are they? So again, this is just a lens we're challenging you to use, and we'll do a little exercise. And we'll say, where's the person you are talking to? So next slide is, and we'll use the chat for this. So for people who are, so you're ready. So first you note where and which words would be linked to it. So in the chat you might say, oh, she mentioned, I don't know, something, and you put the word and you put say heart or body or head. So you can do that in the chat, and Pierrette will help monitor, because I found my chat, but it's buried under, and if I want to see it, I have to lose the sharing of the PowerPoint. So that was not good. And while you're listening, you're trying to practice your active listening muscle. Also check if there's things that that I say, because I'm going to be telling the story. I prepared a little story for you. So if there's things that resonate with you and make, what does it do to you? So that's important too, and that's part of the active listening, is to even be self-aware and recognize when it's something is triggering something good or bad in ourselves. So that's part of the active listening. So I will go back to the previous slide, because that's what we agreed to, and I will tell you my little story. So this is a little the graduation of my son. So for put a bit in context, is that my son had learning disabilities, he had speech problems, attention deficit syndrome, and so on. And so going through school has been a challenge. So we worked hard, it was hard, and many hours, some hardships. But then we're at the graduation, that's it. From secondaire 5, so the end of high school in Quebec. And so we prepare, it's stressful. We're like, oh, we have to look nice, and we want to, make him proud. And then we go there, it's in Ottawa, and there's a big hotel, there's tons of people, because it's a big high school with a lot of people, and you see all the girls, most have like the beautiful princess dresses almost, and then you have the young men, they all look handsome in their suits, and and there's so many people that they call them to the stage, only by name, and then that's it. They shake the hand of the director, and off they go. So that's just time for one picture, and up, it's gone. So it's very organized, because it's otherwise, and it still lasted forever. It was really nice to be there because after all these moments of difficulties, I was so proud of, and I felt relieved that we made it, because nowadays, if you don't have at least a high school diploma, what do you do, right? So my mom's heart was very content. It was very nice to be there, and to be at that moment, at that graduation moment. Okay, stop.
Merci, Jacinthe. It's funny. I can, well, we can read. Everybody can read the chat except you, and we see heart, 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 heart everywhere. A little bit of the head, but not much. Like obviously, this is something you are really, really proud of. And when we say proud, obviously, we are in the heart zone of listening and the person who's talking. But I'd be interested in knowing, Jacinthe, or explaining a little bit more. How is it important that we notice between where is the person we're talking to when they speak to us, in their head and their heart? For example, in your case, you were a lot in your heart. Should we invite you to be address questions to invite you to know a little bit more what's going on in your head, in your body? I just want to know the purpose of knowing where the person we're talking to is when we talk to them.
Yeah, no, that's it. So this, I tried to balance it to a certain degree, and it's like made up for this exercise. So the story is true, but the way I told it was to make sure I had a bit of mix. But if you talk to somebody and then you pay attention to this and you realize all they're saying is always in their head. There's no emotion, there's no action, it's just like, then you've got to wonder, is the person okay? And so you might on purpose want to ask questions, try to ask them how they feel about the situation. So just that's a good leeway into the good questions section. We'll do a bit, in a few minutes. So and the same, and if somebody is only in their heart and they don't see the end and they're sad and it's all going bad, nothing's good, I'm so sad, but then maybe you want to ask them some factual questions, and that might help minimize the situation. So that's actually, it's a good lens to start. There's other, like I said, there's other tools, but this one is actually something that can be useful to you to observe in the people you're talking to when they're telling you a story. Yeah. So if it's totally ideally there should be a bit of a mix that, or you can encourage the mix. But if it's only stuck in one section, it might not be a good thing.
And one thing I see having someone in front of us being in their head and in their heart, which seems sometimes in its case, anyways, in your case particularly, easier, I would say. It's a good thing to ask them questions so they go into their body, meaning by that, what are you going to do about it? What have you done about it? What are your intentions? What would you like to see happen? So they're taken, I'm not saying they're taken out of their head or their heart. At some point, we need to clear the air. But at some point, they also need to tell you or to go find for themselves what actions have they done, will they be willing to take. So I guess it's a mix of both. Or on the other hand, if someone is coming to you and they're all in their body and they want to do stuff, they have done stuff. Well, how do you feel about that? How which one of these actions would make you happier? So I guess you said that it's a matter of balance and making sure the person is exploring all options, and these options are coming from different space in our bodies, right? When we speak. So merci, okay. Yes.
So that was the exercise. And did people share with? Okay, now we're back to.
We're next.
Empathy.
Empathy.
So empathy. So the question is, so what does it mean to you? So, and the code is 82 91 425 or 829 1425. And when Pierrette is sharing, I can see the chat again. Because I really care to see what you're saying. I see Jennifer is talking about when not face to face. A little note is that when this pandemic started, as a supervisor, at least speaking from my experience, we were very conscious, and we were worried to force people to show their cameras when we had meetings, and we only did it on the voice. But then the code we can see on the screen, on the top of the screen, if you can see, 82, 91, 42, 5. And some people write open heart, caring, be in their shoes. So what was I saying again? Yeah, when you're not face to face. So actually our learning for us is we've learned that actually we are now kind of doing regular camera meetings, because then you don't see the old person, but at least you see their face. Because in the real office, you would have seen them. And if when somebody's not doing well, somebody else in the office would have noticed and would have said, how are you? What's going on? Let's go for coffee. So we're missing that. We're missing that kind of check with each other to take care of each other. So now in our team where I work, we are on purpose doing some video calls regularly. So some people are writing good things in the chat too. And see, the bigger one is understanding. So that means many people are saying understanding. Are you looking at the chat too, Pierrette? You're looking on the other screens? I see your head. Aha.
You see my worst profile. This is my best profile. This is my worst profile. Okay. Anyway, I have two screens.
Caring.
Yes, understanding is a lot there. It's interesting how 94 people contributed, and then this is what comes up the most: understanding. And what do we do to understand? We ask questions. Yeah? We don't say necessarily our opinion, or we don't solve any problems. We make sure that we ask the right question. We make sure that we understand. So that means that we reformulate and making sure that the person we're talking to is on the same page. We're on the same page as this person as well. So I guess that brings us to the empathy. I'm going to stop the sharing for now.
Should I share again?
Yes, please.
Okay.
It's funny when we talk about empathy, because we thought, okay, we're going to pull out the 3 takeaway pieces from the course, which was active listening, empathy, and powerful questions. We thought it was how we can, the most we can get from 90 minutes of a workshop. So we thought empathy. Empathy is the egg and chicken relationship with active listening, because if we look at all the key principles of empathy, they're basically the same as active listening. Be curious in what the other have to tell you. Be attentive and observe, don't judge. Follow your intuition. I'm going to skip the next one and come back to it. Do it, accept other as they are. So we were talking about mutual respect earlier, no judging. That's in line with that. But to try empathy on yourself. I don't know about you, but myself, this is quite a challenge that I have. Like I can be empathic, and it's funny because if you practice empathy to yourself, towards yourself, it's going to be easier, or it's going to be more natural when you do it with other. So if I'm about to tell you that I have a hard time being empathic with myself, I'm going to have a hard time being empathic, showing empathy with others. People will know if you fake it, right? You can show empathy as much as you want to someone else. If you se faire violence, if you don't do it to yourself, it doesn't resonate, right? It's you don't walk the talk. And I'm saying that because it's easier to be empathetic to somebody else if you are empathetic to yourself, and probably from some the way we've been raised or something, I tend to be harder on myself and easier on other. So I guess you need to practice this. It needs to be in your genetic code. Be kind to yourself, nice to yourself, empathetic to yourself, and then it'll come easier when you have to be empathetic to other. In the coaching school where we were is we say bienveillance, and it's too bad bienveillance translates into kindness. I think it's a notch higher. Bienveillance, kindness. I think it's a bit more than kindness. But kindness, you need to be kind to yourself and to other. And if you put that ingredient in place for coaching or for anything in any of the 3 situations, we were talking about the 3 hats earlier, mentor, supervisor, and coach. the key ingredient is to be kind, to others. So it brings also the empathy, which is another key to active listening. So I guess I'm good. I lost my chat. I really like to look at the chat. So it's a drug. I like the chat. There's a lot about empathy on the chat, Jacinthe. So I like this one. Demonstrating empathy involves congruence between your word, your tone, your body language. Absolutely. If you say yes, but your head goes like this, that you're not congruent. If you say something in your face or your body says, I love to chew in a lemon. I love it. No, you don't. Say. So yeah, I totally agree. You have to be one with what you say, how you say it, and physically how you demonstrate what you're talking about. Absolutely. So that's it. We can move on. We have 25 minutes left. I think we're good on time.
We're excellent.
We're excellent on time. Perfect. So we can spend
Sorry,
more time on the row.
I'm having a challenge. It's okay. I'm good. It changed, and I have the chat a bit. So the power of questions. So this is a bit of an intro to the good questions. So good questions, excellent questions give really good results. So it's powerful, and it's really it's the most critical skill you will need apart from listening. And this is how we help invoke and evoke excellence and growth in others around us. So this is very important. Here in the next page, we have a bit of a, bit of what are powerful questions and how do you make them. So, sorry. So here, actually, so again, this is one of those, watch out because there will be an exercise next page. So the quality of powerful questions will make you practice next. But asking good questions is really important, and it makes you more effective. You have better results. And again, like we said earlier, prevention of conflicts and so on. So when people talk, they often miss some information. It's implied, and you're supposed to guess the end of the sentence or some of the concepts. And this can lead to misunderstanding. So when you ask them for clarification, it really helps, and it helps them because they might not have verbalized it. And when they verbalize, they answer you, then it helps for them to clarify at the same time. So for example, if they say, everyone is slow at the office. Everyone? Who? So whatever the sentence is, that can help the person too. And then they might say, oh no, it's not true. There's only a couple. And then so helping people to clarify for themselves and might help clarify where the problem really lies. What is the going on? Actually, that's a very nice one. I like what is going on is very neutral. It's so open. I took conflict resolution courses, and they were saying, "What is your conflict?" But I didn't like it because the minute I said that, you could see the person react. Oh, I have a conflict. Oh, this is serious. Oh, this is bad. But if for the same, I was answering the same call from somebody who asked for help, and I say, what is going on? Then it was more, oh, something is going on. There's a situation. It's not a big conflict. So anyway, so the importance of your words and the importance of your questions already set the stage for the answer and where they might go. How? I'm not going to read them all, but anyways, I like the ones on the left. Overall, of course, non-judging, like we said. So you ask with curiosity and you're not trying to make your reply. You're just trying to understand where the person's coming from. Again, they might have a positive intention in stealing your wallet because they want to give Christmas presents to their kids. So needs a reflection. So sometimes even before asking the question, you might take a pause and then ask a question, and they might not answer. And sometimes that's the best questions. Sometimes because if people don't feel like telling you, or they don't know the answer, but it's shaking something inside. So this is okay. Silence is okay, like we were saying with Pierrette earlier. So those are good. So we encourage you to learn to respect silence and welcome it. The same as even tears. So if tears come up, they're just a symptom of something else. There's something that brought them up. So I know it's not something comfortable in many cultures, and or like men are not supposed to cry, but what if they cry? So anyway, so it's not necessarily comfortable, but it's a muscle you develop. So you can, so I challenge you to see how your tolerance to silence and eventually tears. And that's it. And your question shouldn't tell people what to do. It shouldn't say, aren't you gonna go do that? That means you want them to do that, right? So, so the next page is the exercise. We have some sentences, and we'll ask you in the chat to say how would you rephrase them. So I'll go to the next slide. Yes, do we have something to add, Pierrette? Or yes?
No, it's not. We in some ways, I had to, all the chats are amazing, interesting, and I thank you people to contribute to the chat. I just can imagine if this conversation was in an auditorium with a lot of people, that would mean that people are whispering. But in this context, I love it because we can get all the people's opinion. So it's fun to listen to you, but it's also fun to look at the chat, and I guess we're developing those skills. Speaking of skills, what I like about what I just read, there's two things that I would rapidly want us to go through about the fact that empathy, active listening, and coaching are skills that can be taught, learned, and implement by anyone who wants to give it a try, right? This is not something that you're born with. This is, some people are. It's easier for some people for some reason, but others like me have to work on that. But everything can be learned, everything can be taught, everything can be implemented at any stage in your life. If you just choose to put the effort to learn these things and to pay attention to all the principles and the example we shared. And there was another question that I really like. How can we respond? A question, yeah. How can we respond with non-judging? Well, the answer to that one is easy. You don't respond. You're the one asking the question. I guess if we stretch that question a notch and say, how can I be not judging? I guess when you listen to the other person and you clear that little golden retriever and the squirrel in your head, you're listening to what the person says. You're listening from being in her shoes. So physically, and I'm again very, very visual, I would put myself in this person's shoes. I would sit in her chair, not having someone in front of me that's just, nodding and listening. And what is this person going to tell me? Just, I would keep up with the word. I would not say, I don't like what she's doing. She's talking about a subject that I really don't like. There you're off. You're just gone. You're just gone, and it's unfortunate. So I guess unless you have any other tips, Jacinthe, how to be a good listener that doesn't judge.
No, the same. If you put yourself in their shoes and you're trying to, if you really trying to understand where they're coming from and where they're going, and so if you try to understand what makes sense to them, it's going to be hard to judge, because then you will feel compassion and empathy. You will, it's easier to judge when you're removed. If you accept and you embrace and you really participate with this person, then it's actually it goes together. It becomes easier to be non-judging.
And the good thing about that is that the other person is not trying to convince you of being like him or her. The other person tells you a story, and you listen to the story, but you don't have to agree or disagree. This is not your story. This is this other person's story, and that's basically it.
Yeah.
Onwards with the exercise, madame.
Okay.
Purple questions.
Oh, sometimes it works. Sometimes I have to click twice. Sometimes it's bizarre. Okay. So in the chat again. So how would you rephrase that? And there's no one specific perfect answer. So it's really, how would you rephrase? Did you talk to your colleague about it? So Pierrette, do you see some participation? I guess this is a very active chat today.
It is a very active chat. It's coming slowly but surely. Oh, I like this. I like all of them. I hate when I start my statement, but I like this one. But There's a couple really, they're all good ones. Have you spoken or no? Have you spoken to anyone about this? Is a yes and no question. So I guess it's a non-example. Um, who have you talked to about this? This is what I see. What did your colleagues say about this? Have you felt comfortable? This is one. This one is pushing it a notch further. It's nice. Have you felt comfortable talking to your colleague about this? So you're asking first if they talked to your colleague about that and how they felt about it. What step have you taken to talk to your colleagues? This is one I prefer because
sorry.
it implies a lot. I like it. I don't know why, but how was your conversation with your colleague about this? Yes, you want to ask them how. You want them to tell you facts about what happened. How will you tell them what you think? Perfect. How do you feel talking to your colleague about this? Yes. See, when you have an example of what not to say, I think what to say comes maybe easier. Because naturally speaking, I'm the first one to do that, is to ask open and close question all the time, right? Yes and no. I have to think about it before, and I respond quickly. I speak quickly. I sometimes think quickly. So I don't have sometimes the time to think, is my question open? But yes, it should be. So I need to think about. I need to tell the golden retriever in there to think to think before I ask a question, especially with the intention of helping someone. How did your colleague respond to you? How do you feel about the conversation went? Ah, we're at the. I think some people jump to other sentences, Jacinthe, so it's
No,
fine.
that's good. And actually,
Oh,
the chat reappeared for me.
ah, but
No,
tu vois. Okay, so I'm
no,
gonna
it's
stop
okay, but
doing
it's
the.
perfect. No, and it reappeared, and actually, but it reappeared like a few minutes back. So
Okay.
I really like. So that's it. So that's the objective of this is to practice your muscle of asking open questions that are more open to go further and grow with the person. But actually, I
Yes, and
saw
I have to tell.
a little note from earlier, from a few minutes earlier, when it reappeared by magic, and somebody said, how can you wear the three hats if you're a supervisor? So I would just take a moment to say, I am a supervisor, I'm a manager, I manage a team, and it's something you develop over time because what is natural, what you've been taught in management schools and so on, is to direct. And I've even been in the military at one point, so I can tell you, you tell people what to do. You direct them, you tell them what to do and how to do it. You have your process,
Yeah.
and I can do that. But then the mentor hat it depends with some staff. They will ask you for kind of guidance and so on. And in some moments you can kind of guide them, tell them, oh, in mine, I've done this in the past, maybe it's going to work for you. So you can be wearing the mentor hat and the coach hat. Actually, that's the one that's not necessarily natural, but with your more seasoned employees or more seasoned in their positions, it's actually very powerful because you tell them, okay, I need this type of report in whenever, and that's it, and you stop. You let them figure out the way and how and so on, and they love it. But you have to see with whom it's going to be appropriate. It depends on which kind of staff you're managing and the context. So, and the more you do it, the more it's fun for them, but you have to stop controlling. So for me, that was hard. It's still hard sometimes, but the more I do it, the more I have fun with it, to be honest.
Yeah, and I have a bias with any question that will start with how, because you have that's exactly where you look into all the options, all the opportunities that you can pull from. When you ask, it's not appropriate all the time, but when those questions, when you have the chance of asking questions that start with how, then the person in front of you has to look for those options, right? So good for that. We have 10 minutes left, Madame Jacinthe, so we're good on time. We're moving on to the next slide. Where am I?
The grow model.
Oh, the grow model. Yes. Oh, it's moi. I was looking at you. Perfect.
Yeah, you do the grow.
I do the grow. Well, basically what the grow model is is a model to help you having a coaching conversation with someone when they come with an issue, I don't know, a situation they want to change, anything that will help them build an objective. And I don't have to explain to you what an objective are, and everybody's gone through especially if you do your PMAs and stuff like that with a SMART objective, we all know that. The GROW model was a one way of having a coaching conversation, integrating open questions into the building of an objective for the person you're talking to. So the G stands for goal, of course. What is the desired situation? This is the expected result. When we start the coaching conversation, we oftentimes use this model, and we will always try to open this conversation with what do you want? Where do you want to be? This is the expected result. As opposed to clearing the air, oh, you know, there's a situation in my office. No, no, no. Tell me where you want to be. At the end of this session, where do you want to be? What will you be? What would you be the ideal situation for you? It needs to be concrete and focusing on the result. Then you go and dig out the actual situation. Well, I got this conflict with this person in office and yada, yada, yada. So that's exactly where you dig out all the dirt about the issue, the challenge, the situation you have, you want to address, right? That's the reality. Options. This is where I like the questions to start with. How? Because they help you dig in options. This is a very important step where you explore your option. Have you, and we've done the exercise that was going in that route as well. Have you tried this? What are you willing to do? What has been working so far? What is not working so far? What have you done to try to resolve the situation or to achieve this goal? And this is the option, the step that you can pause with many silences. Let the other person think about the options a bit. Again, we ask a question, the person doesn't answer, we ask another question. No, 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 let that simmer. Repeat the question. Do you understand the question? Well, yeah, I do. Okay, I just need a bit of time to think. This is where you want to allow a lot of time, because people are digging into their resource, and digging takes some time. So allow them a lot of time for options. Willingness, action. What are they going to do about it now that they know where they want to go? What's the problem? What the options that they have that they found that they were possible? Where are they going to do that? What would be a first couple of steps? Because again, you're going to be talking to this person half an hour, we don't know, maybe 10 minutes. You're asking all these questions quickly. Someone is showing up in your office and they want help. What are you going to do about it? What's the first thing you're going to do about it? What would be a good first step for you to do? So anything you want to add on the GROW model, Jacinthe?
No, that's it. So it's one technique that can be used. It's a short one. We've learned a different one, but this works, right? Because there's a key component. The key steps are there, and when you have a conversation with somebody, it can be a good lens to use. But you will see too that sometimes you get two options and then you realize, oh, there's the desired situation is evolving or things are changed. So it's not perfectly linear, but that's life, right? That's normal. So are we good to go practice? We're gonna practice. That's our last little exercise of the, now this I have to click here, the last exercise of this workshop. We make you practice. We have a little scenario. And you're meeting with a colleague, friend for coffee somewhere, virtual coffee, I guess, whatever, whatever works. And they tell you, oh, I want to get promoted. I'm not challenged at work. I'm bored. I can't change government department, but I can't move town. I have to stay in the same city because whatever. So which kind of questions could you ask this person just to make you practice? In the chat that I can see still. So you have your coffee. Is it me or there's nothing that appeared or my thing is frozen?
What are you projecting? I see I see it. Yeah. What have you done to get the promotion? Do you see the chat, Jessica?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. What steps have you taken up? I'm reading some of them. Tell me a bit about your career. I like that. Huh? It's like a path,
Right.
and now
It's
you want to
open.
change path, or you want the path to change a little bit. So yes.
What sorts of promotions are you looking for? Because what does that mean, right?
Wait,
Promotion is very
wait.
specific.
Exactly. I've seen that also this morning. What do you define as a promotion? What is a promotion to you? What do you mean by promotion? I know this is the obvious, but I guess
No,
you're working
no.
on making sure we're talking about the same.
Yeah.
How will a promotion help you achieve your goal? Yeah. Are you looking for the right thing? Yeah.
So see,
So
you have
I
good
guess what you want
muscle.
to do in your career. Wait, they have. See, for
Yeah.
most, for all of us, it's there. It's just on. We've learned so many things, in our career or in our life that we have to choose what's going to be on top and what's going to be easily accessible. And sometimes it's not necessarily what we don't know. It's where we hide it. So that's
Yeah.
it. We have 3 minutes
Yeah.
left, I
Yes. That's
think.
why I was mindful. So we go
So
to,
merci.
wait, I have to click twice somehow. Okay. So now it's the chat. We're back to the chat again.
One takeaway piece for today. Ask
Where's
questions. Patience. Patience. Embrace the silence. Yes, my favorite one. Be present. See, we offered each other 90 minutes of this without technically any interruptions. So and especially working virtual, it's so easy. We don't have the travel time anymore. We used to change office, change floor, change building. Now it's in your face all the time. So taking a bit of time just to be elsewhere than looking at your computer. Well, obviously in this case you were, but doing something else than your usual work.
And I see a lot of people have enjoyed the grow model as well.
Yes, we're gonna focus on that.
Yeah, no,
We
that's
should
good.
have a workshop just on the grow model.
Okay,
And
so
I don't
I
know if
move.
Alexandre
Wait.
Alexandre,
We have this.
the
Next,
little we okay. If you want to go back to Menti
just a
one
little
more
note,
time.
just a little note to close. And now we're still at 27. There's still 3 minutes.
Oh,
So,
well, good.
so just this is just a slide to say, what if you all train your muscle and you all can be a little more supportive of one another, it's wonderful because that's it. So everybody, we can all make a difference together, like individually. When you interact with people around you, it can really be supportive. And in these days, with everything going on, it can make a difference in somebody's life. So if you truly listen to them. So it's okay, Pierrette, or should I go to our little last mentee?
Wait, the last Menti for the day. Yes, yes, and then Alexandre can close while people are doing the Menti. Actually, that'd be nice.
Perfect. So
I'm out.
thank you.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just going to start. Thank you, Jacinthe and Paulette, for this excellent presentation on coaching and basics and principles for effective leadership. It was really interesting, a lot of interaction, as you could see. I think we had about 250 people who answer in our 250 chat. Yeah, that was super interesting. A lot of really interesting information. Thank you everyone for joining this session this week for the coaching summit. And you're all welcome to join other session along this week until Friday. And the last word to Pierrette and Jacinthe.
Well,
Jacinthe, you want to go?
well, thank you very much, everybody, for participating. We really put our hearts and soul into this, and we hope you enjoyed it. And we appreciate that you took the time. It already means something that you did that. You participated in this workshop. Pierrette?
Yes, the same here. I feel really privileged that we had the opportunity to do this for you. And we hope that you're going to take advantage of all the other workshops this week during the summit. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. And yes, the